Imagine this. It's 2:30 p.m. You suddenly remember it's early dismissal today, but right at that moment, your phone explodes with messages about a school lockdown, talk about a heart-in-your-throat moment, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It seems like every parent, myself included, has felt that surge of anxiety, that desperate need for information when it comes to school safety.
It's a primal fear, for sure. We
Mm.
entrust schools with our children's well-being, and any threat to that security triggers a visceral response.
Absolutely. And it's not just parents, it's teachers, administrators, everyone involved. So when you shared this information about Samscloud, a company claiming to redefine school safety through technology, well, my ears definitely perked up. They've provided this white paper outlining their approach, and there's a lot to unpack here.
What's fascinating here is how the white paper starts by diving into the very real communication breakdowns that plague schools during emergencies. They highlight the lack of centralized systems, leading to situations where nobody has a complete picture of what's unfolding. They talk about delays in getting information out, difficulty in coordinating with first responders. These are all pain points that resonate with anyone who's experienced a school emergency.
Right.
Yeah,
It's not just theoretical, it's that agonizing wait for updates, the conflicting information swirling around it can make a stressful situation downright chaotic. And let's be honest, clear communication is crucial in those moments.
precisely. And the white paper goes on to highlight how traditional communication methods often fail to target messages effectively.
Yeah.
Imagine a lockdown situation where teachers need one set of instructions, students need another, and parents need yet another. Without a way to segment and target those messages, it's a recipe for confusion and potentially dangerous misunderstandings.
It's like trying to herd cats during a hurricane.
Exactly.
So how does Samscloud propose to solve these communication nightmares? They're not just diagnosing the problem, they're offering a solution, right?
That's where it gets really interesting. Samscloud is presenting itself as the technological bridge between crisis and control. They claim their technology can reduce emergency response times, which is a bold statement with potentially life-saving implications. Their white paper outlines a whole suite of tools designed to streamline communication and improve emergency response, starting with real-time incident reporting. Imagine a system where every authorized individual from the principal to designated staff receives the same critical information simultaneously.
Okay, so instead of fragmented reports and whispers in the hallway, there's a single source of truth updated in real time. That feels like a huge step towards minimizing confusion and panic.
Absolutely. And it feeds into their other features, like this scenario-based messaging system they highlight. It's all about preparedness. Imagine having pre-written messages tailored for specific scenarios: a fire drill, a security threat, a medical emergency. Each message contains clear instructions for different groups: teachers, students, parents. No more scrambling to draft a coherent message under pressure.
So it's like having a playbook for emergencies with each play, designed to get everyone on the same page as quickly as possible. That's smart. But how granular does it get? Can you customize these messages for specific situations within those broader scenarios?
That's a great question, and it speaks to the need for digging deeper, beyond the marketing sheen. The white paper touches on customization, but to your point, understanding the level of detail and flexibility within those pre-written messages is crucial. It's the difference between a useful tool and a glorified mass texting system.
Right, because a one-size-fits-all approach rarely works in a real-world crisis. They also mention a mass messenger. Is that just a fancy name for a school-wide alert system?
It's more nuanced than that. Remember those targeted messages we discussed? The mass messenger seems to be their solution for ensuring the right information reaches the right people. Think of it as a multi-channel communication hub. Let's say there's a gas leak in a specific wing of the school. Instead of a generic school-wide alert that might cause unnecessary panic, they could use the mass messenger to send targeted alerts to teachers in the affected area, instructing them to evacuate their classrooms, while simultaneously sending a different message to parents, assuring them that the situation is contained and providing further instructions.
Okay, so it's about controlling the flow of information, providing reassurance where needed, and avoiding a mass exodus into the parking lot.
Exactly. And this targeted communication extends to first responders as well. They highlight a feature called Emergency Response Coordination that provides real-time updates to 911 dispatchers and emergency personnel.
So instead of relying on a single, potentially panicked phone call, first responders are getting live updates from multiple sources within the school.
That's the idea. The white paper uses the phrase situational awareness, suggesting that first responders arrive at the scene already armed with crucial information, which can be vital in those critical first minutes.
It's like that old saying, information is power, right? Especially in an emergency. They also mention an incident dashboard. That sounds intense. What is it exactly?
Imagine a digital command center, perhaps displayed on a large screen in the principal's office, or accessible remotely by authorized personnel. This dashboard aggregates real-time data from all those other features we've discussed. You see who reported an incident, the nature of the incident, its location, which staff members are responding, the current status, timestamps, a comprehensive overview all in one place.
That sounds incredibly valuable for coordinating a response, but I can also see how it could be overwhelming in the heat of the moment. Is there a risk of information overload for the people trying to manage the situation?
You raise an important point, and it's something the white paper doesn't explicitly address. The effectiveness of such a dashboard hinges on its design and usability under stress. A well-designed dashboard would need to present information clearly, prioritize critical alerts, and avoid overwhelming users with extraneous data.
It's like the difference between a pilot's control panel and the dashboard of a rental car. You need the right information presented clearly at the right time. Otherwise, it's just noise.
Okay, we've been talking a lot about features and functionalities, but let's bring this back down to earth. How does all of this actually play out in a real-world scenario? Can you give me an example?
Sure. Let's say there's a severe weather event, a tornado warning, for instance. With Samscloud, the school could instantly trigger their pre-written tornado warning protocol.
And that's where that scenario-based messaging comes into play, right? They're
Yeah.
not scrambling to type out instructions while the wind's picking up. Precisely. That pre-written message, tailored for a tornado warning, goes out instantly to all designated devices. Simultaneously, the mass messenger kicks in, sending specific instructions to different groups. Teachers in classrooms with exterior windows receive immediate instructions to move their students to designated safe zones, while those in interior rooms might receive different instructions based on their location and the specific layout of the school.
And at the same time, the system is pushing real-time updates to first responders, giving them a clear picture of the situation on the ground even before they arrive.
Exactly. So you have a synchronized, multi-pronged response. Students and staff are moving to safety. First responders are receiving live updates, and the incident dashboard is tracking everything, who's accounted for, which areas have been cleared, where assistance is needed. It's about creating order in what could easily become a chaotic situation.
It sounds incredibly thorough. Looking at the bigger picture here, it seems like Samscloud is really trying to address those communication breakdowns we talked about earlier. They're trying to replace that wait-and-see anxiety with a sense of proactive awareness and control.
That seems to be the core of their proposition. But as with any technological solution, the real test is in the implementation. This white paper paints a compelling picture, but it's crucial to remember this is a company presenting itself in the best possible light.
Right, we're seeing the highlight reel, not the behind-the-scenes documentary. This is where that healthy skepticism comes in, right? What's missing from this narrative?
Absolutely. We need to move beyond the marketing materials and look for independent verification. Are there reviews from schools already using Samscloud? Have there been any independent studies on its effectiveness? And what about those potential drawbacks we touched on earlier?
Like the potential for information overload with the incident dashboard or the need for robust cybersecurity measures to protect sensitive student data.
Exactly. These are crucial considerations that warrant further investigation. There's also the question of cost, implementation logistics, training requirements for staff costs, practical realities that a white paper might gloss over.
So for any school administrators or concerned parents listening, thinking, okay, this Samscloud thing sounds interesting, what would be your biggest piece of advice?
Don't just take your word for it. Do your due diligence. Talk to other schools using the system. Ask the tough questions. Request data on response times, incident resolution, user feedback. Get a sense of how this technology performs in the real world, not just on paper.
It's about empowering yourself with knowledge, which seems fitting for a deep dive, wouldn't you say? If you were evaluating Samscloud for your school, what questions would you ask? What aspects would you want to explore further? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Who knows, it might just spark our next deep dive. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and stay safe.